things being what they are now, I figure this episode's a great reminder to get involved in local politics and to go vote in those local elections. And to teach me about how important this was, here's the throwback with two comedians, including a government worker, Dan Iwrey, and one of the deputy finance directors for AOC's campaign back in 2018, Simone Norman. So this is a nice little moment in time. Please enjoy and go vote.
You may love a thing that I can't stand, spiders, tofu, watching Homeland. Our interests are all varying. It's fun to be contrarian, but I'll try things that you all love to see if I can rise above. But maybe there's a chance that I just won't. So in that case, don't mind if I don't.
Welcome to Don't Mind If I Don't. Hey, I'm your host, Aaron Gold. This is the show where I don't like things, but then fans and experts who are blatantly smarter than me in like 50,000 ways come on and show me why I'm wrong. And today, man, we're gonna get political, but in like a better way than I did with the Trump episode. This is local government. And joining me, I've got two wonderful local governmenters. First up, comedian, actress, and deputy finance director for Ocasio 2018, Simone Norman.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm hydrated. I'm
Don't
sitting
gloat.
cross-legged. Okay. Well, I'm fine.
Good.
I'm fine.
Good. That is definitive. We've settled that. We have a quorum. You are fine. Officially.
Yeah.
Also joining us is comedian and worker in New York City government, Dan Iwrey. And I'm realizing now I did not find out how to pronounce your last name before I said it.
Yeah, and you got it wrong. But,
of course.
But you're not the first to make that mistake.
How do I say your name?
It's pronounced Iwrey.
Dan Iwrey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just drop that W sound.
It's not spelled that way, and I feel lied to.
No.
Like a politician would.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway,
That's
everything.
a smear campaign, sir.
It is, but it's effective. I am the media. So everything on this show gets rated on a scale of 0 to -10. 0 is my ambivalence. -10 is blood-curdling hatred. And I want to just clarify this right now. This is not about like my hatred or dislike for local government so much as because I think it's a good idea. It's more about my personal interest in being a part of it. Simone is very casually flicking me off.
I'm not. Oh my God. No, there's something in my eyes. Stop. You're making me self-conscious. No, there was something in my eye. Sorry.
All
I'm
right,
back.
I'll believe that lie.
I was using my middle finger, though. I won't deny that I was. I was.
I feel like
It
I've
wasn't on purpose. I promise.
got you all on the stand now. So local politics
Tension.
clocks in at a -4.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that it's important, but every time I try to give a shit,
Yeah.
I clock out, man, and woman, or whatever you
Yeah.
present as. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
I want to care. I know I should care. So how do I become like you guys? How do I care?
Are we just getting into it?
Yeah,
Can I just
let's-
tell you how to start? Okay, well, I will say that I used to not care. I mean, very recently I didn't. Arguably everybody had a point where they suddenly started to care.
Are we talking about the same point in history? where a
No,
certain
actually,
person-
no. I was just going to say in your own, 2016 was a pretty energizing time. But also, I just mean like some people were just waiting for the day they turned 18 so they could vote. I was one of those people, but not because I was so interested in politics at the local level. I just really wanted to like do the lever, just do the lever in the booth. In my polling place now, and I think it's like this at a lot of places in New York City. Like it's the digital scan ballot.
There's no lever.
But in my hometown, where I was turning 18, when I was living there, was at my local elementary school. It was a lever, and I had gone into the ballot box with the curtain.
Oh wow!
With my mom before, when she would take me in there and just kind of passively flick all of the down ballot D levers, just all of them.
Oh yeah, that was an option too.
Yeah,
there were all different kinds of lever systems that you could use.
It was an engineer's dream, just pulleys and levers and schematics. It was like steampunk. No, I just went whatever.
Yeah.
So the point is that I didn't care about it in terms of like how can this affect measurable change in my community. I was just excited to be like in on it.
You wanted to push the button.
I wanted to push the button, and I
pull the chain. Out comes a chocolate train.
Maybe that's one way they could drive engagement if it
Make
was a
it
lot
like
more of
a
an
game.
active.
Yeah.
Like you had to jump on the candidate, like jump on the button or something.
You had to play a tune like on a giant FAO Schwartz style piano.
Yes.
Then like certain melodies corresponded to. I don't know.
You've got to play Rock Band
You have to
for
play
every
Rock
single
Band.
candidate. Like you're doing Freebird for Democrats and
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, Orange Crush for
Welcome
Republicans.
to the jungle. Yeah.
I remember going into the little curtain areas with my mom and my dad when I was just a wee child. And I remember my mom was cool and let me press the button of who she wanted to vote for.
It's illegal.
Dad did not let me.
Yeah, well, he's fucking smart.
No, yeah. He plays by the rules.
He knows that you can't throw away your vote in this country, and to at all. No, I'm just kidding. This is not an actual issue. You just looked at me like, oh, okay, she's starting to tell me about what's important about it. No, that's
It is
cute.
hard to tell when you're being sarcastic.
I'm so fluent in sarcasm. No, you're good. I think it's really great to bring kids into because it is fun and like makes you look forward to it.
How about you, Dan? Where did your passion for government start?
So I think I had a passion that was kind of on two separate tracks. So on one end, when I started working in city government, I honestly didn't know that much about what the local government did for people. I came to the city in pursuit of a theater career and all that, and so for a long time I considered myself kind of a long-term tourist. You know, I was just here for now, making my way, and I knew I was probably going to leave at some point. And so I didn't lay down the foundation and stakes that other people might have. Like I didn't have kids, didn't own a home, didn't own a business, and things like that. And so I really didn't interact with the city government anymore or at all. And then when I started working there, I started to learn about all the different agencies and programs and things that are going on and the ways that government actually interacts with people's lives. And that sort of jolted me into becoming a little more engaged with the local politics here, because I realized it actually can change your day-to-day experience living in the city, even as someone without kids or without owning a home and stuff like that.
When I found out when I started to become acquainted with all of the different government agencies just in New York City alone that are out there with these amazing programs that nobody knows about, that nobody is...
Can you break me off a slice?
Well, I think that Dan should, because he knows about all these agencies, but just the different programs for like how you can file your taxes for free if you make this amount of money, and like we'll pay your heating bill if you qualify. Things that just people don't know the government wants to help them with.
Yeah, I mean, and unfortunately, a lot of times you won't have to interact with the city government unless things in your life go badly,
right.
Unless you have to obtain some kind of social services. And so, like you said, there's people that will help you to pay your rent. People are going to give food stamps. There's housing programs. There's agencies that deal with domestic violence and things like that, homeless services. So a lot of the least fortunate people are the ones that are interacting with the government on a regular basis.
Elderly care.
Elderly care, sure. Or if you get ill or something like that. But there are things that everybody interacts with, different large-scale infrastructure projects that are built. The city has a huge part in that. Parks, even consumer affairs and stuff like that. They'll help you do some financial planning and programs of that nature.
Now, here's the thing about all those, because everything you just said sounds lovely in theory, and I'm not going to pretend like I am the lowest, anywhere close to the lowest, like most in need of government assistance, but I am up there. I'm on Medicaid. Surprise, surprise. Living as an actor in New York is not always lucrative. And every time I've tried to go through a government program, either on the websites or on the phone, it's always this complicated, intricate, feels like it feels like it's a process that's designed to get you fed up and, you know what, fuck it. I don't need healthcare anyway. You're both silently nodding.
Yeah, I can't argue with annoying levels of bureaucracy for a lot of things. But I've also had moments where I've thought to myself, that was surprisingly easy. And my best example is, are you familiar with the NYC ID?
Yes, I am.
Program? It's a city identification card. And so it's good because it's something that you can give to police officers. You can use it where state IDs would be accepted. So it was a big progressive win, especially for undocumented immigrants. But it also gets you discounts to museums and things like that. And I got my NYC ID so quickly, I couldn't believe it. I made an appointment online and things like that. So sometimes things do surprise you with how easy they are. It's just no one took the time to actually see it through or try to get these services.
Right.
Because they didn't know they were out there.
But also, like, a lot of the times the process in and of itself is intimidating or...
I would argue that I mean, I'm not going to like... I don't know. It's hard because I don't think that government has an agenda where they're trying to keep you from availing yourself of their services. Some people might argue that that's true, that bureaucracy and red tape is merely a tool to keep like your engagement with these programs at a minimum. I'm not going to say that. I would say that it has that effect. It does. But I would also say that if more people engage themselves with it and saw it through, it would work better. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we put more pressure on these systems by publicizing what they offer more, helping, maybe having like, I don't know, different agencies like help folks navigate the bureaucracy of that and show them that you can get from A to C and that it can work for you. Like,
so basically pull yourself up by your bootstraps. What's wrong with you, you freeloaders?
No. I'm saying that a system that isn't used, a machine that isn't used often will rust. And I'm saying that if we just say like, well, it's too hard, there's too much red tape, like, then we are enabling. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you're underprivileged, if you are a working class person who has several jobs, who has a family, who doesn't have time and the privilege like that you might need in order to like spend an afternoon at the Medicaid office or whatever, or like signing up for things or filling out the 500 documents you need to do the TAPS program, which is the food stamps, I get why that. So like, I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing.
I'd also like to guide this conversation back to the topic at hand, which is politics.
Yeah.
And so
you're getting me excited for it.
We're doing a great job at pumping you up.
But if there's a program that you feel like the process doesn't make sense, that you feel like you're someone who's in need of those services and you're having trouble getting them, the best way to do something about that is to elect a politician who's aligned with those goals. And a lot of that red tape and bureaucracy is a result of political infighting, because this is the program we want to do, but then someone on the other side of the aisle is like, well, we don't want it to go too far. We don't want to waste money or something like that. So let's put in this little condition.
Yeah.
But you are actively... Simone, you are active.
Yes, my name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yes, you were in the viral video of her finding out that she won, like the video where the "Oh my God" video. You're standing right next to her, patting her on the shoulder. Yeah,
that was at her victory party, obviously. But I used to plan events for the campaign, so when that night was happening, like I'd planned that victory party, like I was organizing it, and so we were all waiting for her to arrive, and she was a little late, and her results were starting to come in, and I was standing there, kind of just like the reporters were like, "Is she gonna be here soon?" And the New York One people were like, "We need to interview her," and I was like, "You interview me? I don't know. I planned this party," and they were just like talking to me about this party, and then in the middle of a sentence of mine, I see that she comes in. So I'm like, oh, and there she is. And she's on camera. New York One cameras are standing there recording us. And she gets in front of the camera and she looks up at the screen in the bar that had New York One on it.
Yeah.
and she sees that like 79% of precincts were reporting that she was at, I don't remember what the number she was, but she ended up getting 57% of the vote. Nice. And she looked up and she saw that, and on her way over to that party, no one was letting her check her phone. They were like, don't look, it doesn't, you'll know when you know, why stress yourself out? So she didn't know that she was winning. And then she saw, and she was, so that was the iconic finding out moment.
Did the team feel like she was going to win, or were they trying to spare her the difficulty?
Yeah, were you calling it a victory party as you were setting it up? This pause tells me no.
No. This is how we were calling it the election night results watch party.
Gotcha.
When I started working with her, I mean, I privately, and this is I'm not proud to admit it, I thought she'd get like 30%. I underestimated her just like everybody else did. And I can tell you right now that she never underestimated herself. That we would have the conversation with her like, so, if you don't win, will you contest the results? Will you da-da-da-da? Will we have to hire a lawyer? And she was always like, I'm not operating from the perspective like that will happen. I'm not preparing myself for that really. Like, I'm sure she was privately, emotionally, but she was always planning on winning.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that coming from someone who I wanted to win.
Yeah, well, it's as easy as it like doesn't have to be a guessing game.
Right.
Electoral politics doesn't have to be this crazy of like we'll have as many concerts and rallies as possible and get as many selfies as we can and like get people so pumped up and then just like cross our fingers. It's like if you just play it by the numbers with voter contact, you can find the number at which you will win your election.
Does that really help? Because you and I were talking politics about the New York general elections yesterday. Not the general elections, the primaries. And I know that we voted very similarly. Pretty much progressive down the line. I keep saying we, but the listener can't see who I'm making eye contact with. Simone and I know each other. Dan and I just met. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
And for the most part, the progressives that we voted for did not win.
The top of the ticket slate did not win. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Governor, the lieutenant governor, and the attorney general that I voted for, they didn't win, unfortunately.
Yeah. Those are the three I voted for as well. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm not going to pretend like I was super well read. I just realized Zephyr Teachout was a person and not a movement like a week ago. And I'm pretty sure other people have had that same revelation very recently.
She is very much a person, and she's 8 months pregnant.
Wow.
She was running for attorney general.
Badass.
8 months pregnant.
And a great name. Just an undeniably great name. Mm-hmm. Politics aside.
I think that's an across the aisle consensus.
Surely.
Yeah.
That's one thing we can all be unified on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's either got a great name for a politician or a Red Hot Chili Pepper song. Anyway,
I think this primary was pretty interesting because it went toward what people were predicting.
Yeah.
People were not expecting Cynthia Nixon to win. She ran a good campaign and a surprisingly good campaign at that. People were not expecting it to be so close. And
I thought Cuomo. I voted for Nixon, but didn't Cuomo stomp her? Like, how close was it? Do we know the numbers?
She got a third of the vote.
A third of the vote. Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
For someone who's coming from very little political background, it was her first real race, and just based on where people put her at the beginning, she did better than expected.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, she also pushed Cuomo a little further to the left. Mm-hmm. She forced him to engage on that level to try and win voters his way. So on a policy level, it was a victory. It was a victory in that regard.
So when it comes to local politics, a lot of the times, are we voting to try and impact the person that we know will actually win?
Well, I will say that when I hear people make the argument of like, well, the incumbent's going to win because they have all the money and they have the power, and you have a Cuomo figure, you have like a Joe Crowley who was the 10-term congressman in New York 14, and he was the incumbent until Alexandria beat him. A lot of people were like, well, my vote doesn't matter. I already know who's going to win. Like, why should I care? Why should I be excited about this? In the year leading up to the primary election where Alexandria eventually faced him, in that interim year after she announced that she was challenging him, and between that day and the day, that they actually held the election, just like Dan mentioned, she pushed him very far left. He co-signed Medicare for All in that year, which he just never would have, and a bunch of other, and he was the congressman at that time. He was the sitting congressman, and his legislation mattered. And it wasn't just rhetoric. I mean, so...
So when people say your vote matters, they aren't just talking about
who you're going to elect,
for,
right?
Like, it has lasting effects.
Absolutely.
It's like a chess game.
If you vote with your issues in mind and not with who do I think is just going to win anyway, or who do I think like has so much power that whatever. If you vote with your issues in mind, that gets translated to whomever wins, whether it's the person you voted for or not.
Okay, well, let's say hypothetically by the end of this discussion, I am charged. I'm ready to volunteer and bother people who are trying to get to work, but for a good cause.
Yeah.
You're both comedians. Simone, I know you're also, like me, an actor. How do you find the time to volunteer in an overworked and underpaid schedule where it just all I want to do when I get done with work is lie the fuck down, smoke some weed, and probably watch an anime?
Well, I should say my role doesn't...
Did I just incriminate you by saying that I smoked weed? All right, good.
No, we're good.
All right, New York State.
I don't smoke weed, but I do approve of it.
Yeah. I'm in favor.
I wish you could see the smile she just shot. It was shit-eating at best.
No, I do. I'm woefully straight edge. Sorry.
So I will say my job doesn't allow me to participate in very many local elections as just part of our code of conduct. So I can't necessarily volunteer in that kind of formal capacity. But I will say that being involved doesn't necessarily mean standing on the street corner every morning for several hours volunteering. It could mean...
Which I don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't do that.
But it could mean, doing one phone baking shift, showing up to a rally. They probably more than anything want money, because a lot of these progressive grassroots style campaigns, they're not taking big money. And so, and I know that's not a compelling argument because we're coming from the actor perspective here. But even a small donation of $5 does send a strong message, because the money goes to their fund, but they also say, look how many donors we had.
Yeah.
Look how many people have been donating. And it's never really been easier with the internet to donate to political campaigns. But there's also reading online, staying informed, talking to people about it.
Now, but a lot of this reading online, because that's what I was trying to do with I believe it was there were 4 things to vote for, and there was one of them I didn't, because I couldn't find it.
The state senate race?
No, it was the
yesterday. You mean?
Yeah, I think it was the local community,
the civic judges.
Maybe
something?
That, yeah.
The
but again, like, there's so many goddamn things,
of all,
and I don't know what
million
any of these
things.
titles mean.
Yeah, well, yesterday we voted for the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, your state senator, maybe if they had a challenger, because it was a primary, and then some communities had assemblymen running.
That's what I had. Assembly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I couldn't find
any information about the candidate.
I could have digged harder, I admit, but like I did do a bit of digging, and like it was like
really
when
hard, yeah.
It's very hard when you're ADD, and it's just not interesting.
It's not a great feeling going into the ballot box and just being like, oh, this name sounds relatable.
Exactly.
I'll go with that one.
And I didn't know any of my assembly people, so I just didn't vote. And on those 3, I figured people that are more informed can settle this one.
Yeah, so first of all, there's nothing wrong with taking advice from a neighbor whose politics you think you align yourself with. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that, first of all, the fact that you voted in an off-season, like, midterm primary is a big deal. A lot of people don't. Turnout is super low. I'm just stroking your ego. I think that you're a hero,
I'm the
Aaron.
hero.
You saved New York. I also
It's my Marvel hero fantasies come true.
Yeah, I think also. So kudos, good job.
Thank you.
Also,
And might I add, you're welcome.
yeah.
Go on.
I don't remember what I was saying. Before
I'm
we
sorry.
started bantering. What was it? So the point is that I don't remember. I just thought that
You were talking about taking advice from neighbors and things like that.
Thank you, Dan. First of all, there's nothing wrong with that. Second of all, I think that the more you start to break down how much you do rely on local government without realizing it, the more you might appreciate it.
Okay, let's break it down right now then.
Yeah.
How much do I rely on it, guys?
Okay, well, I mean, first of all, if you are having a problem like we talked about with the with like registering yourself through an agency or for a program, have you ever heard of constituent services?
No, it does sound a bit like an escort company.
Okay, so no, it's not.
Are you sure? Are we all sure?
Do you know what do you know what the word constituent means?
I do know what the word constituent
so you are a
means.
constituent of your representatives.
Right.
And you are allowed to just...
For the listener, though, what is constituent?
Okay. A constituent just means somebody in somebody's representative district. So, like, you live in like Washington Heights-ish, Hamilton Heights?
Hamilton Heights, yeah.
So yesterday, Robert Jackson won to be your senator so you are a constituent of his.
If I am under the legal age to vote, am I still a constituent?
Yeah, because your parents are, your family.
It's their
is.
job to serve you.
Okay.
You live there.
I think that we forget in this country that they're like politicians or excuse me, people who hold political office are not just like making laws and like winning elections and like with win or lose, and like they are supposed to be working for us, serving their constituents. You can go to any one of your representatives' offices, and that's like as low as like county committee, or you can go to and like just chat about stuff, or you can go to a community board meeting or whatever. But then you can start getting higher and look at your assemblyman. You can go to their office. You can go to your senators. You can go to your congressman. You can. I can look up. You have a lot of people who represent you, and you can ask them to help you with stuff. You can just be like, I'm having a really hard time applying for Medicaid. It's just like not working for me. I keep getting denied. What can I do? Or my father is elderly and he's not receiving his check for da-da-da-da-da. They will help you with that for free.
Let's say I did need help applying for Medicaid, since that's the example. Who would I reach out to for that one?
Whoever you like.
Like literally anybody from state senator to alderman, like any of them.
I think alderman was done away with.
Yeah, I don't think there's
But you could talk to your city
council
member.
Granted, it is a word I learned from the Chris Rock movie Head of State.
Then it's got to be legit.
It's pretty legit then.
Then it's in the Constitution.
But you can talk to your city council member. They will often know where to guide you and send you to speak with other people. They have staffs, that help out constituents and things like that.
Yeah, it's just called constituent services.
Yeah, it looks good for them to help people out.
Okay, well, so let's go back to finding the time when you're as busy as we are. Like, I'm assuming you guys are pretty busy as well.
So there weeks and weeks go by without me engaging in anything. I wanna say that, like, just because you see me on Instagram or whatever, like I'm at this rally or at like that makes me look 1,000% more engaged than I really am. I was engaged that hour, that day. You can't. The answer is unless you work for like the Working Families Party or NYCC or like you can't spend all of your time doing it. It's about building small increments of engagement into your schedule that work for you and not guilting yourself when you can't be at everything. It's about going to maybe one meeting a month. 1 meeting a month.
These things are cyclical. There's not elections all the time, constantly. And I think we're in a really amazing time because, like you said, this was an off-year primary election, and it's a lot of people, young people, are talking about it. And I don't think anyone would have been talking about it a few years ago.
No.
It's, in the grand scheme of
Because
things,
politics got a lot scarier.
Yeah. And, but I think, a big response to the scariness, especially at the federal level, is a focus on these local elections, because frankly, your vote simply matters more the lower down the election gets. I mean, I was looking at some of the counts, and there was like 12 to 15,000 people voting total in these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but when it comes to these local elections, like for my voting for my assemblyman,
City councilman or whatever.
How does that affect in the larger scale?
I'm going to give you an example. So, city councilmen, for instance, if we're going to look at them, that's one of the most local that you can get. A county committee it's like you're representing your block, literally. It's like very, very local.
You've got like borough presidents too.
True.
Who have a limited amount of powers.
Right.
City council members are a lot more powerful than borough presidents.
That's true.
Borough presidents are going to nominate people to be on the community boards, who are basically an unpaid advisory board. So it can get pretty.
It can get even
low
more
level.
local. But let's say, it's not as. But city council would be like technically below assembly member, right?
Yeah, that's at the state level.
Right. So
I'm going to need you guys to draw me a map.
Okay,
'cause,
so
this is tough.
So I just want to use the example of a city councilman though, because even though it's not like the most hyper local example, it's one that a lot of people like don't think of that word, city councilman, or they don't think of assembly. Like everyone knows about senators and House of Reps. Everyone knows that from like basic high school. But your city councilman, here's an example. I live in Crown Heights in Brooklyn, and the city councilwoman there is Lori Cumbo.
That is a great last name.
Lori Cumbo, yes. She is not my favorite person.
That is a bad last name.
It is a bad last name. So we had a big, I'm involved with the Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, and we had a big project that we were working on for a long time that is kind of halted now because of the way things turned out. But the point is that they wanted to turn this giant armory from like a century. I don't remember when it was erected, but it is this old, like I think, what war was it? It was like from a war. Jesus Christ. It's an armory, so it holds arms, and it's very old and extremely beautiful, and it's this gigantic structure that takes up an entire block between Bedford and Rogers Avenue and Union Street in Brooklyn. And they wanted to tear it down, rezone it, and because right now the city owns it, and turn it into luxury homes. Turn it into luxury homes. So that is going to exponentially, that is going to make rent prices rocket in the area.
Yeah.
That is going to accelerate gentrification to like a crazy degree. The only person who had the power to vote no on that project was the city councilwoman, Lori Cumbo. Lori Cumbo said she was like prevaricating. She wouldn't say, I will, perseverating. That's what I was looking for. Perseverating. Like, I don't know whether I'll vote no, yes or no. I don't know. Da, da, da. We started flooding her office with calls. Please vote no, please vote no, please vote no. And then we ran a challenger to oust her in a primary. Jabari Brisport, and he's an open socialist, and he lost, unfortunately. And she voted yes. And there's still a lot of time, but the people who are trying to purchase the building to turn it into luxury housing are these crazy real estate people who are like affiliated with Trump. Like, it's just a gigantic mess, and the entire landscape of Crown Heights economy, housing market, and really there's a housing crisis there. There's like 2 to 3 different homeless shelters in that district alone. Like, is going to change because of her one vote, and she holds an office that most people don't even know exists. So and that's going to affect rent.
That
That's
bums
pretty
me
big.
the fuck out. Yeah. And all right, so how do I stay abreast of all these more local politics? Like, because I go on the news app on my phone, and I follow a lot of the major ones and some of the ones I disagree with, just to keep it varied. and some of the ones that are just bullshit, like Fox News. But like, how do I keep abreast of this without being overwhelmed?
Well, it's hard when you only follow the big national news cycles because they're just going to deliver those big news stories. It'll occasionally get to local politics, in the example of your campaign, of course. But there's a lot of local news outlets that you can follow. New York One does a great job. Gothamist, Daily News, they'll cover those things. The Independent, and also there's a lot of Facebook groups and things that deal with hyper local issues. Like Hamilton Heights has a Facebook group, and they'll talk about these things. Oh, and of course you can find out what your community board number is. You can check out their website every now and then, and you'll find out what issues they're talking about.
I am so glad you brought that up, because one of the pieces of homework you guys had me do was find out what my local community board was.
That was Dan's piece of homework, right? Because my homework was just vote, right?
Yeah, pretty much just vote. Yeah.
Check.
I did it.
Yes, you did.
I did good. I am part of community board. Man, I've really got to reconsider how much of my personal info I give out on this podcast. Whatever. It's a pretty
whole community.
I live uptown too, so we might be the same community board.
9?
Oh, I think I'm 10.
Okay.
I think I'm in the next door community board.
Probably, yeah. I'm in Hamilton Heights. And I went on to the community board website, which of all the different community boards, like there, I think like 12 or 13.
In Manhattan.
And number 9 had the nicest looking website.
Well, there you go.
I had to click through about 8 of them before I could find out the one that I belonged to. Sure. And then when I did find the right one, even though it was the nicest looking website, I could not. It took me so damn long to find when the next general meeting was, to find any information that was chewable, you know? And then I did finally find out the next meeting is on a Thursday, but I'm busy and there won't be like another general meeting for a while. So what the fuck do I do?
Yeah, so community boards, they can be a bit of a mess from time to time because it's 50 people that don't get paid to do it. So they probably have more important things that they're doing in their lives. There are some very dedicated community board members that are like generation long New Yorkers, very interesting people.
Large point of pride.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is, if you can ever make it out, it is a very interesting thing to see how much small issues really matter to people. And it really comes down to land use. So the big Armory project in Brooklyn, that's a big scale thing. But people will debate whether or not someone can do a renovation on one building on the corner, or are we going to allow this homeless shelter to come in? So people are very engaged with these hyper local issues.
Is it like Parks and Rec painted it, where a lot of the people that show up for these are a little bit wacko?
Yeah.
They're all eating waffles.
Yeah, there is.
They give out waffles.
They have adorable love stories between unlikely doofuses.
You raised my hopes so hard for 1 second.
Listen, why don't you be the guy who brings waffles to the community board?
If you really put your mind to it, New York? You could be on a community board in 3 years, I think. Yeah. I really do.
Like you could be a member.
They're desperate. They're desperate. I don't know if this is something you're interested in, but they are desperate for younger people. And you can actually be on a community board at 17 years old. And they're trying to get more and more young people to be on these things because they are comprised a lot of older people that have some time on their hands.
Let's say I did decide I wanted to do that. How much time out of my week would that take for me to get to that point? How many hours a week?
To get to the point of being appointed on a community board?
Yeah, and then if I am on a community board, how many hours in my week would that be?
So I believe they are required to meet once a month.
So far, so good.
Before they get kicked off. So it's not that bad.
Usually on a Thursday.
Yeah, something like that. I think they meet on, I've seen some meeting on Mondays before as well. And you have to, know what the issues are and have an opinion on it if you're going to vote.
But if you're on, you will. Like if you immerse yourself into that community and start meeting those folks and start attending, like you will know what's going on.
So how do you guys stay abreast of all this info? Like aside from the large scale, where do you look for your more local news? So
I am not a member. I'm not a community board member, and I've not gone to meetings, and I should, and I really want to. And I've just been lazy. I mean, you can't do it all. I do a lot of electoral politics, which is very high energy and very consuming and very like easy to be attracted to because it's so da-da-da. But the real work of local politics does come at those meetings that nobody pays attention to outside of that room. And
doing an excellent job of selling it.
Hold on, I'm not done.
Okay, fair enough.
So, however, how I stay connected to because it is usually a lot of older folks too as well, and you just feel more comfortable around a younger room. Is I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. So we have chapter meetings. Like there are borough chapter meetings, like there's a Brooklyn DSA, but then there's just like a central Brooklyn DSA, and then there's the South and there's the North, and I go to the central ones. And there's like the Brooklyn Young Democrats. There's what's the one in Queens? That's like one Queens, I forget the name, something like that. Whatever. There are grassroots organizations that you can look through and pick from depending on how they align with your values and interests, and they have very local chapter meetings.
Well, let's focus on the DSA because I don't like the idea. All right, quick disclaimer. I don't like the idea of a two-party system. I think the idea of the world being black and white is extremely limiting and detrimental. But I guess I do align most with the Democratic Socialists. Sure. I tend to vote very liberal. Most of my issues are liberal. So let's say I wanted to become an official card-carrying member of the Democratic Socialists.
Well, first of all, you don't have to be an official card-carrying member to attend the meetings.
Okay.
It's recommended and it's encouraged. And I think you do have to be a card-carrying member in order to vote on the local issues because it's a Democratic organization. So, like, for instance, when they choose to endorse a candidate, like there's not like three guys who are just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, the entire organization votes. So they had to vote before they endorsed him.
How big is the organization?
New York City is, I think, the largest chapter. Countrywide, they just broke 50,000 members, which is great. And then New York City is either the largest or the second largest city chapter. But citizen cities all over the country.
Okay.
But what was I saying? Okay, so if you focus on DSA, for instance, like that's the organization that I belong to. And I pay dues for it.
How much? You
can choose. Okay. I think I pay $25 a month, but you can choose. You could do 10. You could do 5. So like, say I'm going to the Central Brooklyn DSA meeting. I go there. It's at like a high school. It's like an hour and a half on a weeknight, like this, what we're doing right now, like this podcast. And all the different subcommittees of the DSA, this is just how the DSA works, but it's a pretty, classic model. All the different subcommittees present what they've been working on. And they ask for like, hey guys, we're having so like the housing subcommittee is having a meeting this day, and we are looking for this. Please come if you or we're holding a rally. Then there's an environmental working group. There's a social women, like feminist socialist working group. There is a like tenants' rights. There is electoral work. There is reproductive rights. It actually gets extremely specific, and there are and I'm leaving out like 20.
But doesn't that get overwhelming? Because I'm getting overwhelmed just hearing
listen,
this.
So you choose one.
Okay.
Literally, you choose one. If you pick what you're most excited about, or you just say, I am a member of the DSA and I just want to work on that. I just want to show up at the events that need me. I just want to pay my dues. I just want to vote in general things when it's time to vote as a big group of like, and you just align yourself. You just choose the way you want to show up.
But what does that entail then? Like if I got, okay, like let's say I have my DSA card.
So what is something in this country or in your state or just in your life or someone you love's life that moves you? Something about the way our government a direction our government is going, and it can be at a national level, something that moves you, something that scares you, something that energizes you, just one thing.
I'm a big believer in, I can't vote for any politician that doesn't support equal rights or equal opportunities for everyone, regardless of gender, age, disability, sexuality, race, religion, like any of that. Like if you if you treat one group like they deserve more fundamental human rights than another, I'm not going to vote for you.
Got it. So if you're like zoning in on exactly what kind of politicians do I want to be voting for, you can work in the electoral group. You can work on how do we get candidates who, because they're all going to be like that. Any candidate DSA would endorse would make those very much central issues. Or you can join a subcommittee that is like LGBTQIA rights, or you can join a subcommittee that is if like class and race issues really move you, especially, then like insert yourself into the housing subgroup, because affordable housing is something that affects people who are not white and not, cis and straight, like more than any other groups. You can find what moves you as a person, and like it can be an identity thing, or it can be something like really tangible, and you can just kind of gravitate towards. So you know what I mean?
I can pick one, but here's an issue. When I did go into my I tried to read up the Charter Revision Commission from my community board. And aside from like, we review the shit New Yorkers try to review, like it was, the language was so boring. It tuned me out. There was a 104-page document. Like I was like, oh, cool. I'll read a document. 104-page document. I won't read a fucking document. No, it was the final report of the 2018 New York City Charter Revision Commission.
So I think I gave some homework that might have been
what was this homework?
A little over intense, because I was just trying to show what's happening in the trenches of local government.
Okay.
But I think you do bring up a good point. Like the average voter, or really anyone, is not interested in reading and that kind of stuff. But it's good to know that those things are being discussed, and that the issues that are being discussed in there do actually affect you in a major way. But I think I wanted to express that stuff just to show that there is a lot of participation in local government that's happening in this city already around us. And it was something that I wasn't aware of, that I had to realize was happening.
I mean, I get that people are doing it. I'm not.
We are not convincing him. Should I do a jig? How do we make him get infected by the bus?
Here's what I was thinking about on the way over here. So would you say that you're somewhat mobilized on the national level?
Somewhat, yeah. Somewhat's a fair word.
Yes. Some of these things that are happening. And so what I've been thinking about is the way the federal government is going right now. It's stuck in paralysis. There's a huge amount of dysfunction there. Nobody really knows what's going on. And so a lot of the pressure to move things forward and to start change happening is coming down to the local governments. And we happen to live in a city that other municipalities look to set an example. New York City is large as a lot of states. And so when our local government does something, people notice it.
Yeah.
And one example, so this is real nerdy, something that I do. Sometimes the city council will live stream some of their meetings, and it's online. Anyone can watch it.
I can't even watch Twitch. Like I can't watch people play video games. How would I be able to stay cued into this? So
again, that might be further down the road. But what I happened to watch was they were discussing breaking up partnerships with ICE. So pretty much abandoning ICE in New York City. So ICE has a few contracts here. They actually lease an NYPD shooting range somewhere. So basically the city was just going to kick ICE out. And if the city council passes it, they'll be the first city to do something like that. And I think if that's something that matters to you, that should be hugely exciting to hear about, that your local council member could have a key vote in enacting some sort of action that could have a ripple effect, and that could be the start of an entire change in how we look at immigration policy.
Sometimes all it takes is one legislator to break through to, like you mentioned, have a ripple effect across entire bodies of government. And if you are someone who supports a candidate who is promising to do that, it like, I use the example of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I mean, it is that is monumentally energizing. Really, I mean, I think that if you want, I don't think that we're going to be able to convince you to live stream your next city council meeting. Although if you guys want, I can have you over and like I'll get Cheetos and like we could make it a cool time.
Get some popcorn, sit around
popcorn.
at 11 a.m.
I will tell you, like, the least appealing part of this plan is going to Brooklyn. Okay. But like the rest of it sounds delightful. It's just far.
It's far from you because you live on the northern
Hamilton
tip
Heights,
of the peninsula.
yeah.
Well, so but if you like getting involved in this kind of stuff, you should do what you feel comfortable with. Like, don't shame yourself into doing something that you don't want to do.
I do feel a lot of shame for
I know,
not.
and I can tell. And I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And I have people who message me when they see that I'm like very visible on social media, like working in politics and volunteering a lot. And they sound really guilty when they reach out to me and they're like, "You're doing amazing work." And my response is always like, I'm not doing anything. First of all, there's so many people I could list for you right now who are doing more. Second of all, I'm not even running. I mean, it's a place of guilt that people are coming from. And this guilt of being like, oh, I'm apathetic, or like, I don't know where to get started, or la la la. Like, you don't have to. There's no switch inside of you that you should possess where it's just like, if I could just turn this on and become politically engaged, like, no, you are already fine the way you are. You're already oriented to certain issues and politicians and arenas of policy. You just don't really know it yet. And it's just a matter of finding your own entrance, not looking to just suddenly become like woke, civically engaged dude who's at all the meetings and volunteering every hour. And like, that's my new hobby. And I don't go to the gym anymore. And I don't hang out with my friends anymore. And I don't like pursue and I don't like watch Netflix anymore. Like, I do all that shit. And there are plenty of events that I skip and like da-da-da. Like, it's about finding your own entry point and just going from there.
All right. Well, for someone who doesn't live in New York, because I can see how here in the city it's New York City. It's a pretty big stage, even in local politics, and I can see how a vote for something local can have a ripple effect and affect stuff on a higher level, and that's very intriguing. Let's say I lived back in Binghamton, New York, where I lived before here. What about then? What if I live in a small town?
Well, I mean, it's still important to vote for local politicians that are going to serve your needs. People in small towns have needs too.
Sure, but it doesn't have the same ripple effect,
but
right?
you can argue that I live in a small town if you just look at my my block association district. I mean, everybody lives in a small town. If you just look at your very local representatives. Right? Like, is that a kind of pedantic thing to say?
Alexandria is a U.S. House representative. Hardly a local politician, actually, if we think about it. But they, in
like
Binghamton,
500 of them.
They were voting on state senate, just like we were. They may have had to drive a little farther to find their polling location, but it's the same stuff essentially.
Yeah, and they have their own congressman. I mean,
but we do live in a special place as a city. We basically live in a whole state within our own states.
Yeah, pretty much.
We are in a
that makes up 90% of the population of the actual state.
Is that right?
Yeah, New York City makes up roughly 90% of the population of the state of New York, and like about 1% of the land mass.
Yeah, so our city council is kind of a unicorn. They get paid more than the state legislator, a lot more.
Wow.
A lot of people have gone from state legislator to city council and been like, yeah, I made a good career move today. So it is definitely a little bit different, but I'm here to convince you specifically.
Fair.
And I've also been thinking about a lot of people get their start in local politics. Barack Obama was a community organizer. Then I think he went on to be a state senator.
And I want to break that down. Like, when you say community organizer, because that phrase is thrown around a lot. Let's like break that down for Aaron.
Yeah, because for me, what it sounds like is I help organize events for the community.
It's like completely vague.
Yeah, it's very vague.
Completely vague.
And slightly intimidating. So what does it mean?
what was his position? It feels like another lifetime ago that we were
we
talking
don't.
about.
I mean, we don't have
Barack
to use
Obama.
it as Barack Obama, but just like how I would define myself as a community organizer.
So what do you do? What is your job role as that?
So there's no job, there's no roles. There's just, are you involved in are you trying to leave your community more organized for your presence there?
So it's just a title you can claim.
Yes.
It's like Esquire. It doesn't mean anything,
No.
really.
No. So I am helping, when we wanted the Bedford Union Armory to not go through, like I'm helping organize meetings. I'm canvassing, like going around and handing out flyers about, did you know that this is an issue that the councilwoman is going to be voting on? Here's her phone number. Can you call her? Calling her myself, going to protests, liaising with unions so that we have union support, Like there are so many ways to be a quote unquote community organizer. It just means that you are involved, that you're involved.
Yeah. That you're someone that's serving either a voluntary or paid position with a special interest group and actually going out and reaching out to people.
And that's what Barack
going door to
Obama
door.
was, and that's what Barack Obama was doing long before he was senator, long before he was president.
Yeah,
And
or
this involves...
he could be an attorney and be working pro bono on whatever interests you are passionate about.
Or you can be an actor and a comedian and hosting fundraisers. That's how I got involved with. That's how I first got involved with Alexandria. I'm a comedian, right? So I when I had friends and my boyfriend, for instance, were getting jobs with her. Excuse me. And I thought, oh, she's so cool. Like, I hope she wins her election. Hey, it'd be really cool if I could help, like, plan a fundraiser for her, since I've been to comedic fundraisers before, and like, I bet I could do that. And I just booked an event hall and booked performers who were comedians who I knew, and all the money went to her campaign, and there you go. I just organized a fundraiser. Oh. And then now I'm her deputy fundraising director, like 6 months later, and it's because I said my entry point with you here is I know comedians and I know venues. I can bring those two things into your orbit to make you funds for your campaign. And I believe in your campaign, and I can't donate $4,000 to you, but I can help, 50 other people show up and donate small dollar donations and make you $4,000, and that's how much we raised.
All right, that strikes me as accessible. I do just because we're running out of time.
We finally got accessible in the last minute.
No, you've been doing it for a bit. But
I think it's important. Like, there's way more things than you can give your money, you can give your time, and also you can give your talent and your energy to these campaigns. And I that situation you described is so awesome. That was your first campaign that you worked on, right?
I volunteered for Bernie, but never had I ever been involved in anything like that before.
But you've gotten to meet her, and and in local politics, it's possible to.
She's touched her shoulder.
Wow,
there's video proof of it.
Wow,
guys, I'm allowed to call her Alex. I call her Alex. Yeah.
Wow. But that wouldn't be possible at a larger scale campaign. But maybe you've now opened the door for yourself to work on a higher level campaign if that was of interest to you. So it really does create an entry point, and I think the doors are open for all kinds of people to come in and lend a hand in these ways.
I do have one last question. Because whenever I pass by someone and they're flyering, or whenever I get a text saying like, "Hey, just want to make sure you're going to vote tomorrow,"
you hate them.
Does this work at all? Does this actually have a positive impact?
Have you
ever?
So,
how much?
Have you ever gotten that text and said, "Well, I was gonna vote, but now I fucking won't"?
No, I just ignored it.
That's what most people do. They usually, but for every.
But I was already going to vote. It didn't like.
So here's why people text you. They're not. First of all, they're doing it so that they can remind you, but they're also doing it so that they have data. When they text you and you respond by saying, "Yeah, I just voted," or "Yeah, I plan on in a few weeks when the election happens on voting for them," you just became an identified voter to them, and they. Are going to mail me a bunch of shit I'm not going to read. They put you into their universe of their data universe for voter contact. That's called the Field Program. Okay, so they'll reach out to me. So it's more than just pestering you. It's like for their purposes as well. They need to collect data. And what about flyering then? Like, does that ever really convince anybody?
Well, I think a lot of a lot of campaign strategies are starting to reveal themselves as being kind
Bogus.
of useless.
Yeah.
So that process is being sped up as younger people are starting to become the voter body.
Like phone banking to landlines we're realizing completely, that's what fuels polls, by the way. The reason why polls like seemingly just don't tell us, like the polls for the 2016 election.
Yeah.
It's because they contact likely voters. They contact people with landlines only. Old people. You know, so and that's how you get polls. Like, so yeah, like Dan was saying, like all of the practices are shifting rapidly.
Yeah, things are flipping on their head. Like a well-written tweet is going to be far more effective than
1,000 flyers.
Nice flyer or something.
I mean, Alexandria
like that.
has 825,000 Twitter followers. Just Twitter. I mean, across platforms, she has like 1.5 million.
So the bottom line when it comes to like flyering is that it doesn't work, but we're learning that and we're evolving. We're currently at a point of change.
I would say so, especially with local campaigns. They're the most agile. I mean, things are a lot different on the federal level.
There's also a lot of technology that's rapidly evolving.
Yes.
In campaign work.
But what I liked about Alexandria's campaign was it wasn't really about technology so much. She just went around and knocked on people's doors and talked to people and saw her neighbors and stuff like that. And that's what really did it.
It was as simple as saying, how many votes do we need to win? Okay. We need to talk to all of those people. Like, so let's say, I don't remember what her win number was, but let's say it was like 15,000. I need 15,000 votes to win this congressional race. Okay, we need to have 15,000 positive conversations. And once we've had those, like, we will win. And that's what happened, literally. We just knocked on that many doors. And these are not
literally
exact
knocked
numbers.
on doors?
Yes, that's called canvassing.
Wow.
Yeah, you knock on the door. That's the most effective way to make voter contact. Knocking on doors and saying, did you know there's an election? Here's who's running. Here's who I'm voting for. Here's some literature. Are you going to vote? Okay, if you don't know, you should look it up. Okay, and after that conversation at that door, you mark it down. You say, yeah, they're going to vote for her. That's a positive identification. Once you collect 15,000 of those, you don't have to cross your fingers. You know you're going to win. So I don't know anything about Cynthia Nixon's campaign, but I can tell you right now she didn't have nearly as many IDs as she needed.
No.
Yeah. Getting upstate was a challenge.
Yeah.
But have you heard about this guy Beto O'Rourke?
I have.
In Texas. I mean, he's driving hundreds of miles every day and talking to 7 people at a Waffle House outside of Amarillo. He is really putting in the legwork to make this happen.
And if he hits those numbers, he'll win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I find that personally very exciting because it means politics is kind of returning to the people a little bit. And in a weird way, I guess technology is making that possible in a lot of ways. So in one hand, technology is kind of like ruining politics, but it also could be the savior. Or maybe it's just the old-fashioned face-to-face conversation. People are really
the people are hungry for that. I think so. If somebody came, remember I had people emailing me, who do I vote for? If someone came to your door and said, here's who I recommend voting for these reasons, wouldn't you appreciate that if it's coming as somebody?
No, I'd be like, you're coming at me in my off time. This is when I'm actually home right now. You save your breath. You're going to irritate me. I wish you the best of luck, but I'm going to shut the door now. Goodbye.
New York. It's because we're in New York.
That's probably
true. I mean, I'm personally never home myself. But, I mean, door to door could also you could take a larger definition there, just showing their face in the community.
Right.
Yeah.
Standing outside the Trader Joe's and talking to people that are passing by and introducing themselves is a similar thing.
When school's letting out, going to a public school and just shaking hands with parents.
Or children,
Or children.
Yeah, get them young. Okay. So if we started with me at a -4.
He's worse. He's at a -6. He's like, God, it's useless.
Girl, you don't know me. You don't know what I'm going to say.
I shot myself in the foot with the Charter Revision Commission.
Yeah. I feel like I went off on some tangents.
I will say I am at like a -1 or 2.
Wow.
Hey.
Yes.
I know it's something I want to be more involved with, and I know I shouldn't let the guilt be fueling me, but I can see myself potentially joining the Democratic Socialists of America.
Yeah. I should take you to a meeting. They have an Upper Manhattan branch.
And I think if I actually have the time and the energy one of these days when that syncs up with my schedule, yeah, I'd go.
Yeah.
I could see myself going and trying this new opportunity or this new experience.
And that's
seeing
a big
it.
step, you know,
Yeah.
being more
I'd be forcing
politically
myself,
engaged.
but yes.
But I mean, like the baseline is like you go vote. That's like the lowest
Yeah.
form of well, I don't want to judge it. Voting is very important, but that's like level 1. And just taking one more action this next cycle, and then from there you might go further if you want. But just becoming more involved is there's a lot of ways to do it. And it doesn't have to be this huge big step.
I can tweet.
Sure. There was a good article in the I want to say the New Yorker or the Atlantic.
Make this quick. We're gonna wrap up.
Okay, but talking about how practicing in politics and like participating in the democratic process is like a skill that's learned. And in the past, people did it all the time. They were members of like trade groups and stuff, and they would vote on things. And we've kind of moved away from that. And so hopefully, as a group, we can get back and just participating in not always formal ways, but just small ways all the time, just to become used to it, build it up as a skill.
I like that.
It's like going to the gym, in some respects.
which is also irritating. But
I take
enough.
it back. End the podcast.
Next episode.
He said -1. It's too late.
Simone, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I have every Wednesday at the People's Improv Theater. You can see my team, Sick Passenger. We're a Pit House team, and I have a show coming up on September 28th at the Pit as well, called Inside the Dream Jar.
Beautiful. And if people want to stalk
they
you
want to
online,
follow me online. I'm on Instagram at localhoney, HUNNY. I know it's adorable, Aaron. You don't have to wink. And then on Twitter at YSimoneY, like WHY, Simone, WHY.
Beautiful. Dan Iwrey.
Yeah.
What about you, buddy?
You can see me every Tuesday night at Musical Megawatt at the Magnet Theater. My team is called Kitty Hawk.
Yes.
We perform at various times, so you'll have to do a little research to figure out when we're going to be there, or you come the whole night, 7 to 10.
Or just go to magnettheater.com.
Check it out. You can follow me on Instagram if you want. It's DIWREY.
What?
Iwrey.
What?
That's how you spell my last name.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's your last name.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know it's Iwrey, but
Just
I think I'm going to call you
shamed
Iwrey.
That's fine.
Shamed
That's
you
fine.
for
That's
your
fine.
name.
Yeah, name shaming.
No.
I would like to plug, as always, You Are Not Alone, an uplifting show about depression. The next one is Sunday, October 28th at 9 p.m. at
I've
the
been on
Magnet
that
Theater.
show.
You have.
It's
You
a
read an
great
essay
show.
and you've done improv at the show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a good show.
Thank you.
One of my favorites.
Just had our 4-year anniversary.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
If
best
you
thing I've done
can
with my life.
if you can run a concept-based show at a New York City Improv Theater for 4 fucking years, dedicated, like you can be involved. I promise you.
I think I
We're
could do
going
a
to
little
some meetings. We're
All
going
right,
to some
I'm
meetings.
down.
There we
I'm
go.
down. I also want to plug. I just faced my worst fear for this show. I did a full -10 when I did spiders. You can listen to the episode, or you can watch the video on YouTube, or use the handy link bit.ly/don'tmindspiders. And check out the show. I think it went really fucking well, and I was terrified, and you'll see me
Did you
sweatier
have-
than I ever
You
was.
have live spiders at the show.
I had multiple live spiders and multiple live other things.
I saw it, and one must watch the video.
Okay, I'm going to watch it.
It's key.
I'm going to watch it at bit.ly
/don'tmindspiders. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Also, Magnet Theater. It's classes and shows in improv, sketch, musical improv, acting classes that TJ Mannix taught, and honestly have led to me booking like at least a third of the acting jobs I've booked.
And best musical improv in the city, I think.
Hands down. It's
Hands
not a
down.
contest.
No, it's not.
It's Magnet Theater for musical improv.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that to stroke your ego or because Magnet Theater.
No, I'm a
Yeah.
house performer at the Pit.
Yeah.
and I admit. but the Pit has really good
Pit's solid.
improv
Yeah.
too, and really,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have a lot of friends on the musical improv teams, but yeah, no, Magnet's a wonderful place as well. Great community.
It is. It is. It is lovely. And speaking of great community, if you go online or share this podcast or post about it or give it a review on iTunes, or if you act like Jacqueline Huffstutler did and comment on the YouTube video,
Oh my God.
I will say something that I like about you. And Jacqueline Huffstutler, what I like about you is that you sound like a Harry Potter character.
Yeah.
you sound like you are at least latently magical.
I'm Jacqueline Hofstadter. Is that... No, that's like Cockney.
No.
I'm Jacqueline Hofstadter, and I'm a Ravenclaw.
I'm going to punch Hermione in her plucky face.
Yes. 10 points to Ravenclaw for my wit. And my YouTube
You just
comment.
award yourself points.
Yes.
I like your moxie.
Thank you.
10 points for Hofstadter.
10 points to Hofstadter.
Also, you can follow this podcast at Don't Mind Podcast on all the things, or just me personally at Hey, it's Aaron freaking Gold. Or email this podcast at don'tmindpodcast@gmail.com. Dan, Simone, thank you guys so much for showing me that I'm already kind of active just by voting, and that doing a little bit more wouldn't be too much. I just gotta do it.
Just gotta do it.
I'll go to a meeting with you. I'll go to a DSA meeting.
We will go together.
Yes, that sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me. And as always, listener, keep on minding.